Thank God for that.
Snatch, 2000, wasn't supposed to work. It was too chaotic, too British, too weird for Hollywood. But somehow, it did. And behind the scenes, A-list actors stalking directors, real arrests mid-production, complete rewrites because Brad Pitt couldn't do an accent, a nearly fired lead actor who turned his weakness into cinema gold. Here are 20 insane facts about Snatch you didn't know, and they're stranger than fiction. And stick around until the very end. I've got a bonus fact so strange, it'll change the way you see this movie forever. Number 1. Brad Pitt literally stalked Guy Ritchie like a fan. This isn't Hollywood networking. This is borderline obsession with a restraining order waiting to happen. After watching Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Brad Pitt, one of the world's biggest movie stars, essentially hunted down Guy Ritchie and begged for a role like a desperate fan outside a stage door. We're talking about an A-lister who could greenlight any project, desperately chasing after an indie British director like he was asking for an autograph at Comic-Con. Pitt was so desperate to escape the commercial blockbuster trap that he basically became Richie's professional stalker, showing up uninvited and pitching himself relentlessly. Sometimes the best career moves happen when you throw dignity out the window and just ask like your life depends on it.
Sorry, Mickey. Just give us our money back and you can keep your caravan.
Why the fuck do I want a caravan? It's got no fucking wheels.
Number 2. Pitt nearly quit the day before filming began. Imagine this nightmare scenario. Millions of dollars invested, entire crew assembled, cameras ready to roll, and your lead actor wants out with less than 24 hours notice. The day before shooting commenced, Brad Pitt got genuine cold feet because he couldn't master the traveler dialect and was terrified of embarrassing himself on camera. He contacted Richie in a panic, asking to be released from the part, and even desperately suggesting that Richie play Mickey himself instead. This is A-list panic at its absolute finest, the kind of last-minute creative crisis that either kills movies completely or creates unexpected legends. The film industry runs on these moments of sheer terror disguised as creative decisions, where disaster and genius are separated by a single phone call.
I swear to God,
Number 3. They rewrote the entire script because of an accent. Originally, Guy Ritchie wanted Brad Pitt to play Turkish, the film's main character and narrator. But when Richie discovered that Pitt couldn't master a London accent to save his Hollywood career, he didn't recast or rewrite dialogue. He completely restructured the entire story. The role of Mickey the Pikey was created from absolute scratch just because their megastar lead actor had serious accent issues that couldn't be fixed with coaching. Imagine completely overhauling your carefully planned narrative, restructuring character relationships, and rewriting scenes because your star can't sound British convincingly. Sometimes the best creative decisions come from pure desperation and the complete inability to solve simple problems through conventional means.
I want a new one, Tommy. You're going to buy it for me.
why me?
Well, you know about caravans.
How's that?
Spent a summer in one, which means you know more than me. And I don't want to have my pants pulled down over the price.
Number 4. Pitt had post-Fight Club PTSD about boxing roles. When Guy Ritchie told Brad Pitt he'd be playing a boxer, Pitt became genuinely concerned and almost panicked about his career trajectory. He had literally just finished shooting Fight Club and was absolutely terrified of being typecast as Hollywood's go-to underground fighting guy for the rest of his career. The irony is almost too perfect to be coincidental. He was desperately trying to avoid repetition and diversify his roles, yet ended up in another film about illegal combat sports and underground violence. This Hollywood neurosis about career image and typecasting nearly cost audiences one of cinema's most distinctive fighting characters. Pitt's legitimate fear of being pigeonholed as a fighter ironically led to his most unique and memorable fighting performance. Sometimes career anxiety and overthinking create the best artistic choices when you're forced to make bold creative decisions.
So, Mickey, you're going down in the fourth. Is that clear?
Let's make sure he doesn't kill me before the fucking fight.
No, he looks like a fat fucker. Well, he is a fat fucker, but he's dirty and he's dangerous.
Number 5. Real crime shows inspired every stupid mistake. Guy Ritchie didn't invent the bumbling criminals Soul, Vincent, and Tyrone through pure imagination. He literally stole their incompetence from reality television. Every single ridiculous mistake they make was directly inspired by late-night true crime shows featuring real robberies gone spectacularly wrong. Richie spent hours watching actual criminal disasters and thought, this is perfect comedy material that writes itself. The getaway car too small for the safe, bringing the wrong tools for the job, general criminal incompetence. These weren't examples of creative genius. They were straight-up documentary research transformed into British humor. Reality provided all the stupidity and incompetence. Richie just added the Cockney accents and perfect comedic timing. Sometimes the best fiction is just organized truth, presented with better dialogue and more interesting characters than real life provides.
Fill that back.
All bets are off.
I am not in here to make a fucking bet.
Appreciated, but all bets are off. If all bets are off, then there can't be any money, can there?
Number 6. Vinnie Jones got arrested mid-production for real violence. This is method acting taken to genuinely criminal extremes that probably violated his contract. Vinnie Jones, who played the absolutely terrifying Bullet-Toothed Tony, didn't show up for shooting one day because he was literally sitting in a jail cell for fighting the night before. The man who portrayed one of cinema's most intimidating gangsters was living his character's violent lifestyle off camera, like he was still in character 24/7. This wasn't dedicated method acting or character preparation. This was just his actual personality bleeding into his professional life without any filter. The line between fictional character and real person completely disappeared, creating authentic menace that couldn't be faked through acting techniques alone.
Ain't doing 20 yard, ain't mate? Nice tie. What do you know? To warm the blood that courses through my veins.
Gonna make it worth my while, mate. Jesus, Tony, you know that is, man.
Number 7. They used a body double because the real actor was in jail. When you see Bullet-Toothed Tony approaching the car outside Bricktop's bookies in that crucial scene, that's not actually Vinnie Jones on screen. It's a carefully chosen look-alike doing his best impression. The real actor was behind bars for his brawling incident, so production had to scramble desperately for a replacement to keep filming on schedule. They literally had to hire a fake gangster to replace their real gangster, who was too busy being an actual criminal to play a fictional criminal. This is exactly the kind of behind-the-scenes chaos that would shut down most major productions completely. But Richie just rolled with it and kept the cameras rolling. The criminal playing a criminal was too criminally busy to play the criminal role he was paid to criminal. Metacrime at its absolute finest, proving that reality is often stranger than fiction.
The fact that you've got replica written down the side of your gun. And the fact that I've got Desert Eagle .50.
Number 8. Richie deliberately made Hollywood's sexiest man as ugly as possible. This was basically an expensive practical joke, executed with a multi-million-dollar budget and professional film crew. Guy Ritchie cast Brad Pitt, People magazine's 2-time sexiest man alive and Hollywood heartthrob, and then made it his personal mission to make him as physically unappealing and incomprehensible as humanly possible. Missing teeth, terrible clothes, unwashed hair, unintelligible dialogue. This was systematic hotness destruction, executed with surgical precision. Richie found it absolutely hilarious to take one of Hollywood's most beautiful leading men and completely transform him into an unwashed, indecipherable pikey boxer who looked like he hadn't seen soap in months. Sometimes the best directorial choices are rooted in pure mischief and the desire to subvert expectations completely.
Turkish, get your ass up. You lot, follow me and I'll fucking shoot you.
Calm down, son. Behave yourself.
I've got the gun, son. I think it's you should behave.
Number 9. A crew member's terrible advice created cinema history. When Brad Pitt desperately asked a crew member for dialect coaching advice, he received possibly the worst guidance in film history that accidentally created movie magic. The crew member casually told him, "It doesn't matter what you do. No one understands British gypsies anyway, so just do whatever." This throwaway comment from what was probably a random crew member completely shaped Mickey's entire character and dialogue approach. Instead of working harder on perfecting the accent, Pitt embraced complete unintelligibility as his creative choice and ran with it, became the character's most defining and memorable trait. Mickey's incomprehensible speech patterns weren't the result of artistic vision. They were the direct result of terrible advice from someone who probably made tea for the lighting department and had zero acting experience.
What do you for a caravan?
What?
Caravan. Top of the range and all that.
It was us that wanted a caravan. Anyway, what's wrong with this one?
That's not for me. It's for me, man.
Number 10. Mickey's speech was born from spite and revenge. Brad Pitt's deliberately unintelligible dialogue wasn't just the result of accent problems. It was personal revenge against critics who had mocked his previous work. After critics mercilessly ridiculed his Irish accent in The Devil's Own, Pitt decided to get back at Irish viewers and critics through Mickey's completely incomprehensible character voice. This was essentially a multi-million-dollar middle finger disguised as character development, directed at everyone who had mocked his previous accent attempts. Pitt turned critical backlash into creative warfare, using his star power to troll entire nations through character choices. Sometimes the best response to harsh criticism isn't improvement or apology. It's doubling down on the problem until it becomes an intentional feature that people remember forever.
Sorry, Mickey.
So what are you sorry for?
What the fuck are you two doing here?
Down, come on.
You got some tires on you.
Back off there. Back off.
I'll do the fight before he causes any more carn.
Number 11. The entire film was meta-commentary, disguised as comedy. Guy Ritchie's decision to make Mickey completely unintelligible wasn't just a quirky character choice. It was elaborate, calculated revenge against film critics disguised as comedy gold. After widespread complaints about the thick accents and difficult to understand dialogue in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Richie created a character so incomprehensible that even other characters in the movie couldn't understand him at all. This was cinematic trolling at its absolute finest, turning harsh criticism into the foundation of comedy that audiences would love. Richie essentially told critics, "You think our accents are hard to understand? Here's a character that literally nobody can understand, including the people talking to him." Sometimes the best response to criticism isn't fixing the problem. It's making the problem so extreme, it becomes intentional genius that people quote for decades.
A fight? What do you mean? What do you mean a fight? A boxing match? Is there gambling involved? Boxing match, have you? Boxing match. You're talking about Frankie. I've got a problem with gambling fucking four fingers, Doug.
Number 12. Richie cameos in his own chaos like a proud parent. Director cameos are usually subtle nods to dedicated film buffs who pay attention to background details, but Richie's appearance is wonderfully mundane and perfectly timed. When we're first introduced to Doug the Head in the bar scene, Richie is the man casually reading a newspaper in the background, completely unbothered by the chaos surrounding him. He literally inserted himself into the madness he created, watching his characters operate like a proud parent, observing his children's beautiful chaos from the sidelines. This wasn't directorial ego or showing off. This was the filmmaker enjoying front row seats to his own creative insanity. While other directors hide their cameos like precious Easter eggs for fans to discover, Richie just sat down with a newspaper and watched his criminal world burn around him. Sometimes the best seat in the house is the one you create specifically for yourself in your own story.
He's a stubborn bastard. He said he's got to look after his mum.
Are you taking the piss?
What can I do? I can't make him do it, can I?
You're not much good to me alive, are you, Turkish? He's a useless shite, that boy. Punish him for me, Errol.
Number 13. They captured complete narrative chaos in just 2 months. Principal photography for this intricate, multi-plot masterpiece happened between October 18th and December 12th, 1999. Less than 2 months of actual shooting time. They managed to capture all the interconnected storylines, complex character arcs, rapid-fire dialogue, and intricate visual sequences in roughly 55 days of filming. Most Hollywood productions spend months shooting much simpler stories, with straightforward narratives and fewer characters. Richie and his crew basically speed ran one of cinema's most complex and interconnected narratives, like they were competing for a world record. Sometimes creative constraints and impossible deadlines create the best artistic results by forcing pure focus and eliminating unnecessary elements.
I just had them polished. Go and put the kettle on.
You take sugar?
No, thank you, Turkish. I'm sweet enough.
Number 14. Richie used experimental techniques that became his signature. Guy Ritchie employed unconventional filming techniques like shooting entire scenes in reverse and using rapid-fire jump cuts to create the movie's unique visual flair and kinetic energy. These weren't just stylistic choices or showing off. They were genuinely experimental filmmaking techniques that accidentally became his trademark directorial approach. Richie was essentially using Snatch as a testing ground for visual techniques that would define his entire filmmaking career for decades. The reverse filming sequences and time manipulation weren't planned signature moves or calculated career branding. Sometimes your biggest creative risks become your most defining strengths and the foundation of your artistic identity.
What has he got a T-code on his head for?
To keep his head warm.
What happened to him?
He got shot in the face, Lincoln. I would have thought that was obvious.
What'd you do that for? Did you mistake him for a rabbit? What do you want me to do about it?
Number 15. The Diamond Plot was borderline narrative insanity. Snatch contains two completely separate but interwoven plots, one dealing with a stolen diamond and international criminals, another focusing on a small-time boxing promoter trapped under a ruthless gangster's thumb. This wasn't just ambitious screenwriting, it was borderline narrative chaos that somehow worked perfectly through pure storytelling skill. Most screenwriters would consider this dual plot structure completely impossible to manage effectively, but Richie made it look effortless and natural. The diamond heist and underground boxing storylines weave together with mathematical precision that shouldn't be possible given the complexity and number of characters involved. Sometimes the most seemingly impossible story structures create the most memorable and rewatchable films because audiences discover new connections every time they watch.
Boris, Frankie fucking Four Fingers has a diamond the size of a fist. I have told you it's in the briefcase connected to his arm. I sent him to you to buy a gun. What more do you want me to do? Hit him for you?
Number 16. It launched Jason Statham from Richie's Muse to action superstar. Before Snatch, Jason Statham was just Guy Ritchie's favorite tough guy character actor from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, essentially a one-trick pony. After playing Turkish the boxing promoter, he transformed into one of Hollywood's most recognizable and bankable action stars with global appeal. The film didn't just give Statham another role in a British crime comedy, it gave him the perfect career template and launched him into international stardom. His dry delivery, working-class authenticity, and natural screen presence in Snatch became the exact blueprint for every action hero character he'd play for the next 2 decades. Sometimes one perfectly cast role doesn't just define an actor's career, it creates an entire action star persona that generates billions in box office revenue.
Tommy persuaded me to keep the dog. I eventually agreed, as long as he took it to a vet. Couldn't stand that squeaking anymore. The vet found half an undigested shoe, a squeaky toy, and an 84-carat diamond lodged in its stomach.
Number 17. Brad Pitt's character had disturbing real-life inspiration. Sharp-eyed fans discovered striking and unsettling similarities between Mickey O'Neill and a real London tough guy known as the Governor, an actual underground fighting legend who was genuinely dangerous. This wasn't coincidental character design or accidental resemblance. Mickey was apparently based directly on genuine bare-knuckle boxing culture that existed in Britain's criminal underworld. Pitt's fictional pikey boxer was rooted in authentic criminal figures who actually fought for money, respect, and survival in illegal competitions. Richie didn't invent the underground boxing world or create it from imagination. Sometimes the most unbelievable fictional characters are actually the most believable because they're based on true stories that are stranger than any fiction writer could imagine.
Not the Rouge, the Rose.
Not the same caravan.
It's not the same fight.
Fucking size of the last one.
Turkish, the fight twice the size. And my master needs a caravan. I like to look after me man. It's a fair deal. Take it.
Number 18. A low-budget British comedy destroyed major studio releases. Despite its modest production budget and unknown international cast, Snatch grossed over $83 million worldwide, completely demolishing box office expectations and embarrassing many major studio releases with massive budgets. This low-budget British crime comedy with experimental techniques and relatively unknown actors outperformed massive Hollywood blockbusters that had 10 times the marketing budget and star power. The film proved definitively that creative cleverness and original storytelling could beat corporate spending and formulaic approaches to filmmaking. Sometimes small budgets and creative constraints force filmmakers to focus on story and characters instead of relying on expensive special effects and marketing campaigns to carry weak narratives.
You're always going to have problems lifting a body in one piece. Apparently the best thing to do is cut up a corpse into 6 pieces and pile it all together.
Someone mind telling me? Who are you?
Number 19. It developed a devoted cult following that quotes everything. Snatch didn't just succeed financially and critically, it created a devoted international cult following that turned every memorable line into internet gospel and cultural reference points. The film's endlessly quotable dialogue and unique visual style made it a cultural touchstone for crime comedy fans worldwide who treated it like religious text. People didn't just watch Snatch once and move on. They memorized entire scenes, quoted it constantly, and made it part of their everyday conversational DNA. From "Do you like dags?" to detailed discussions about proper tea-making techniques. Sometimes the best films don't just entertain audiences for 2 hours. They create lasting communities of people who bond over shared appreciation for perfect dialogue and memorable characters.
Reliability. I always go for reliability.
I'll take it. How much do you want for it?
Nothing.
Okay.
Number 20. It proved Guy Ritchie wasn't a one-hit wonder. After Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels became a surprise independent hit, industry skeptics and critics wondered openly if Guy Ritchie could repeat his success or if he was just another lucky filmmaker with beginner's luck. Snatch exceeded all expectations and definitively established him as a major voice in British cinema, not just a fluke filmmaker who got lucky once. He had found his distinct cinematic voice and demonstrated he could use it consistently to create memorable, profitable entertainment that audiences loved. Sometimes the second film in a director's career matters more than their breakthrough debut because it proves they have sustainable talent rather than just luck.
Give me the stone.
It's in the case.
What?
It's in the case.
You put the stone in the case. Then open the case and give me the stone.
The only man who knew the combination.
Bonus fact. The film almost had a completely different ending. Guy Ritchie shot multiple completely different endings for Snatch and genuinely wasn't sure which version to use until the final editing process with studio input. The theatrical ending that audiences know and love wasn't actually his first creative choice. It was the direct result of test screenings and studio feedback that pushed him toward a more crowd-pleasing and optimistic conclusion. Ritchie's original artistic vision was apparently too grim and unsatisfying for test audiences who wanted clear resolution and closure after all the chaos and violence. Sometimes the best creative decisions come from collaborative compromise rather than pure artistic integrity and uncompromised directorial vision. It started as Brad Pitt stalking a British director, but somehow that obsession became a cult classic. Snatch proved that the best films often come from the worst planning, and that sometimes creative disasters become cinematic gold. If you're into strange movie secrets and the beautiful chaos behind Hollywood's weirdest successes, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started with the madness that makes movies legendary.